Hello.
Hi, we're going to give everybody time to
Hello.
get on Facebook. We're going to give them time, but we're going to do a check-in real quick. And I want to check in first with, I have Alicia Allen to the right of me in the orange. Say hi.
Hi.
And at the bottom, I have Heaven Hightwoer.
Hello.
And then I have my co-host, Jennifer Morgan Elise.
Hello.
When Alicia started modeling for me back in 2017 on the runway for the very first time with the Walk Fashion Show. And you will see her videos and her photos and stuff out there. And I kind of met her and her mother on the runway. And ever since then, we everywhere, wherever I am, wherever she's at, we on the runway, we slams it. And you guys can go to her Facebook right now. Alicia, would you like to give them your Facebook information where they can right now go and follow and join in right now while y'all watching as we get into this interview?
My Facebook is model Alisa Allen, ALISAALLEN. And then I have another one that is NOHEMIVARGAS.
What our theme is model raising their voices, because you guys, we always hear from everyone else except the models, and the models are told and they are trained down through history that don't say nothing, just wear whatever you told to wear, no matter how big it is, no matter how tight it is. Their job is to act as a coat hanger and walk out there on the runway and make that garment look good. And Lord, let me tell you, I'm starting with Alicia because, like I said, I'm going to run some stuff down. Alicia wore some things on the runway. I remember one particular outfit that Alicia wore, which was last year, and that was, the one like the Cardi B outfit, very popular outfit, and it was too big for Alicia. And I am going to put that picture and stuff in this comment later at the end of the show, so that you guys can see how well she wore that outfit. You could not even tell if it was too big. You couldn't even tell if Alisa had any type of problems. We also have the video that you can see the way she walked, the way she turned, the way she posed. It was so perfect. You couldn't know what was going on backstage, and she was so professional with it. She did not complain. She did not roll her eyes. She just did what she was told. So today we're going to give her a voice to speak. We're going to let her speak about her experience in this industry and the things that she had to go through backstage, as well as getting started in the industry. Alicia?
Well, when I first started, it was more like I did classes of how to walk, and then it went with, when I started doing fashion shows, there would be those people that would be like, oh, why is she in this show? And I would, feel some type of way about it. But like, I've learned that I should just leave it alone. People have their opinions and just let me do what I have to do. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to be the ones there when I'm like getting a contract or something. Just know that I can do whatever I can, thinking that I am the best I could be and that I tried my best. And when I walk down the runway and people have something to say about that, I just, just leave it alone. And I don't let anything bother me anymore, because I used to get bullied so much about being mixed, and I never said anything about it. Like, sometimes I would be like, I don't want to go to that show because people are being some type of way towards me. But my mom is always like, you have to go and show them that you're strong and that you don't care about what they have to say. So I am proud of being multiracial and being able to be mixed, because being mixed is a really good thing. It has its benefits, well, advantages. So I just am proud of who I am. And I used to have like really low self-esteem and not like who I was. But now I accept myself as who I am. And, sometimes I would just be sad afterwards after like rehearsal or something because I would see the way how people would talk about me or like roll their eyes to me, but like I don't care. It's just always been like that since I was in like pre-K. Like it just so now I'm used to it. I just let people talk, and when they realize I don't care, they get mad, and I'm just like, you shouldn't be talking about people in the first place.
I want to address some things, Alicia. When you said that you had low self-esteem, that's a great point because oftentimes a lot of models do have low self-esteem and they do feel some type of way out on the runway, especially when you guys first get started out there because you're looking at all the other young girls out there that have more experience. You think that may be more prettier, can walk better, turn better, whatever the case may be. They may have more opportunities or whatever. But in your case, what are some of the things that made you have a low self-esteem?
I just started not listening to people and just liking who I am. Like when you grow up, you just realize that some things that people say are they say because they're jealous. They just want to make you feel how they feel. They want you to sink down to their level. But that's not what you're supposed to do. You gotta, embrace yourself and just let everything be.
What are the favorite things that you like about the runway?
The runway I like it because I could try on these different clothes and there'd be those clothes where I'd be like, oh, I really like this one and it brings out like my really good self and I know that I'm gonna kill it on the runway. But even though I don't like something, I still kill it the way I'm supposed to. Because I know for getting paid you might not like wearing it, but if you're gonna get paid you have to do it.
What are some of the things that you do not like? What are some of the things that you will like producers or designers, people that you work with in the industry? What are some of the things that you want them to know about you and your experience and the things that you would like to see change in the industry?
Well, some things that I didn't like, there'd be like those designers that would just look at me because I'm like short, but not really short, and they would just look at me and just think they judge me by my cover. They've like never seen my walk. They just have, just by my appearance. But I just don't let it bother me because I know there will be those other designers that understand, and I would just walk for wherever I'm supposed to walk for and leave it at that. But that's all I have a problem with. Because some of them, like, they will, like, give you a look, but I don't worry about it.
What do you do to keep your physique and making sure that when it's time for your fashion show? I know it's like a hustle and bustle. You're changing clothes, you got to change your shoes, and then you come out on the runway and you're just walking gracefully down the runway, but the back end is chaos, right, when you're changing. So how do you keep yourself active and keep your weight to where it needs to be for the runway?
Honestly, sometimes I like stop eating certain things so I won't gain weight. Like if I see I gained a little weight, I would stop eating things that would make me gain the weight, or I
Okay.
would go like doing exercise and things like that. My sister would help me with that since she's a gymnast, so she would give me like tips on what exercises to do, so it would help me lose weight.
That's good. I think that's really good to definitely have even if you're not a model, but a model definitely have that healthy lifestyle because you're doing fashion. Have designers, Anita putting you in designing designer clothes to walk the runway. So that's really good to have a healthy lifestyle.
How old? Okay. And what grade are you in?
I'm in the 11th grade.
11th grade. Tell us about that at 16 years old.
11th grade is like stressful than other years. And I've learned to manage my time wisely, doing my homework. Times I would have time to do my modeling thing, and making sure I have that done before I do my modeling thing. So yeah, I've gotten the hang of 11th grade because I know it's supposed to be your hardest year in high school. So I
Yeah.
just really, manage my time.
That was awesome. When photographers want to take your picture, how do if they direct you, or say they don't direct you in how to pose and how to stand, how do you know what to do? I mean, how do you handle when a photographer doesn't direct you how to pose or take the picture?
I would basically go based on what I'm wearing. So if I'm like wearing a dress, I make sure not to open my legs and do like poses that you would do with the dress. And if you have
Okay.
like a fun outfit or something like that, you could jump or you're like happy. And you could do other things.
Okay.
So like with that's just what I think. But if they direct me, I would go based on what they're saying because it's their picture and they know what poses you're supposed to do. So that's all I do for my outfit.
So how did you get into ROTC?
Well, I was like in the eighth grade, and I heard my cousin. He said he was in ROTC, so I said I would give it a try. And when I got into it, it was not what I expected. Like we would do exercises, and there was a camp that I went to last year where we had to jump off of a diving board. It was 12 feet, and I was so scared because honestly, I don't know how to swim. But it was like I wasn't as scared anymore. It was fun. And then we did a 45-foot rappel tower. And I was scared since I'm afraid of heights. But I managed to do it because you have to manage to not be afraid of things anymore. And it was just a good experience. And I did marching on the drill team. And surprisingly, I do really good at marching because all the teachers are like, oh, she's a really good marcher and things like that. And in the competitions, we would do like first place, second place.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's all about
Okay,
ROTC.
awesome. That's very awesome. Well, as a 16-year-old in the 11th grade, I'm going to say that I am proud of you. And you keep soaring and you keep continuing and believing in you. And you'll reach the sky. So the sky's the limit.
You heard Alicia's story. Okay. And so we have Miss Heaven Hightower. And she's very popular out here on the runway, just like Alicia, and they both work together on the runway. And that is one great thing that I do love about the professionalism of both of those young ladies, because they work very, very well together. Okay. They are published in my magazine. Both of them, and there will be published also in our calendar that's coming up. You will definitely be seeing them again. They got a lot, and I think they have a lot of other things that's coming up with other magazines and different things, fashion shows and stuff like that. Okay, but my next guest again is Heaven Hightower. Now, Miss Heaven Hightower, I kind of met as well in 2017, you guys. And Miss Heaven, wow, she's an actor. She's a praise dancer. She's a honor student. Okay, she is well known among her peers in doing lots of academics. She's very well involved in school activities, all different kinds of things at the school, volleyball, track. I mean, just everything. She's just very well rounded, and she also has a Heaven Help One Help All foundation that I have been very proud to be a part of that for a number of years. And she do have a lot of fundraisings, fashion shows, and I've been a part of all of that. We have done fashion shows, you know, with her foundation and everything. And I'm so proud of her. And with Heaven, I decided to make Heaven my brand ambassador, because Heaven is very grounded in a lot of things that I was looking for when it comes to a brand ambassador to represent my company. Because as you guys know, my company now is expanding in more of being a voice for businesses, a lot of different businesses as well as my own. So we're going to hear from Heaven Hightower right now. Okay, so I'm going to ask Heaven, what is her favorite subject, since she's an honor student, everybody?
My favorite subject is ELA, and science.
Also out on the runway a lot, as you guys see her. She is taking a break from acting because she would like to kind of master some other things.
I love ELA because ELA, you get to type and read. And I have typing fingers. I love to type. Really, I love to type. And I get my typing because I type really fast and I get it from my grandmother. So ELA is my top favorite subject. And maybe you never know, in the future, God may have something better for me, or like another gift for me for script writing.
But that kind of go with your acting career, right? And then you also is the
Yes,
author of your own book, Heaven's Life on the Runway.
yes.
So that
Awesome.
goes with all of that. Oh, there she is.
Awesome.
I have two of them, you guys. So because I always support her. And so Heaven, tell us a little bit about the acting and how you got involved in acting. What made you be interested in that? And also, everybody, let me mention, she is Atlanta hottest, nominated hottest rising star for the last 3 to 4 years as well. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in acting.
Okay, well, first, my mom wanted to try it out with me, and so she got me into a play. My first ever play called Agape Love, and then I had the director. Even though I was like a beginner, I was 8 years old, and the director, she saw a gift in me, and she said I did pretty well as a beginner. So then she soon referred me to my acting coach,
Okay.
and then soon I got into acting. Soon came my first set, and that movie was Pandora Box.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Hollow,
wow.
CP Hollow, and I was extra. But then soon over time, I got better and better of acting. As I did auditions, I got help, and then some auditions I learned to do better and go great over time. And sooner or later, I got good to the point where I
Mm.
just I was just kept getting busy and busy with everything I do. And then also with acting, you have to memorize. You have to have dedication in acting because you have to memorize your script. You have to memorize it, study the character, and then act it out. Also, with acting, modeling, and everything I do, it also helps me focus in school because school is always first.
Right.
Because if you want to do something, you have to get your education. You don't want to be a dummy. I will say sometimes, yes, I do get lazy, but at the end of the day, all that complaining is over, and I'll still do it because
Hey,
you have
right.
to do that as a person. Yes, I'm still a human, so of course I'm going to complain. So that's how I got into it. Everything, my mom, and God. So I
She
would like to,
pushed you. She
Yes.
pushed you and supported you.
yes.
That's great. So tell us a little bit about Heaven's Life on the Runway.
Well, Heaven's Life on the Runway is a coloring, activity, and motivational book. And it's about Heaven's Life on the Runway, my modeling life. So it's a storyline as well. And it was written by me and illustrated by my dad, Mr. Jose Strong. And
Ooh.
little insight with acknowledgments, and like you could color this in my model pose pictures. And it's like a book about motivation, my life, and at the end it has some stuff of what I do. So like you want to do something, it motivates you. You have to have humbleness, determination, brains, and you have to dream it and have fun.
All right now, Miss Heaven.
So,
All right
Heaven, let me
now.
ask you a question. With all of this going on, how do you deal with uncomfortable situations?
I don't think I've ever experienced that yet. It may
Okay.
come to me in the future, but if I experience it, I'll just breathe in, breathe out, and then I'll talk to my mom about it, and we'll deal it out. Because yeah, there is a lot on my plate, I would say, but at the same time, no, there's a lot of youth not really doing stuff
Mhm.
early,
Mhm.
and that's really the big thing about, if you want to do something, you might as well plan it out early. But
Absolutely.
yeah, you can do it later on. Yes, you can do it later on in life, but at the same time, planning it will get you better in the future. So if that would ever happen to me, I would talk to my mom about it and we'll work it out that way.
So you pretty much work well under pressure, or say a director comes to you and maybe that director is having a bad day and he or she brings it to work and say something like out of the way or makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. How would you handle that situation? Because sometimes people come to work and they may have had a bad day at home and it may kind of spill over. So have you ever dealt with anyone, in any of the fields that you are in, that you had to, step back and, take a cool down and ask yourself, okay, are they okay today? So have you had that situation before?
No, because usually when if they're gonna like come and have like, if they have a bad day, I would be the one to brighten up their day. I would be the one to make their day feel better, because I'm like, Heaven, if you know me, like, if I'm coming in, they be like, oh, Heaven's here. And then, like, the things that I do, the certain things that I do, I
Mhm.
make people's day. And that makes me happy at the same time. But if that ever would happen to me, I would sit down, like, it's it depends on how they come to me. If they come to me like real like harsh, I would just leave it alone. I would go to the other side of the room, and if like they're like coming to me just like if they like need like a little breather, I would talk to them and talk it out with them and just tell them, breathe, exhale, calm down. Don't focus on what that bad energy, because that's the devil. We have
Mm.
stuff in our because that's stopping success.
Hmm.
Success is, there's always gonna be that one breaking glass, but at the same time, that's also God, because He's trying to see if you can handle that brick. So that's what I would do.
So basically, every test is a testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes we are put to the test. That's awesome. That's awesome.
We have a question from Miss Carolyn. She said, what is the most difficult challenge faced and how did you handle it?
My most difficult challenge was making friends, and how I handled it, I would just like try to talk to people, and if they were nice, then I would like, be friends with them. But other than that, I really didn't see myself having like many friends and things like that, so I wouldn't really, let myself. Some people that were friends with me, and they would like try to talk to me, and they're like, "Why are you always so quiet?" But that's just how I am. I usually don't talk a lot, so I would just do myself to try and make friends. That's my hardest challenge.
Okay, and what about you, Heaven?
Recently, I had a lot of scripts back to back, back to back, and it was like, okay, one audition, another audition, and then I had my, I had my TV show. So I had to learn lines back to back. And then one of the auditions had big lines, like
Mhm.
paragraph lines. And it was 3 pages of that. And then I had another audition and it had like regular lines, but like, it was like 4 pages of it. And then the TV show was 23 pages, but I could handle the TV show because it's kind of like back to back talking. So at the same time, I was like, oh, I'm under all this pressure. I'm under all this pressure, and then I got school at the same time. So that's like 4 things. I had to study, study, study. But at the same time, my mom was like, Heaven, push yourself, push yourself. But at the same time, it was sent at me in at nighttime, and I don't like really learning and reading scripts at nighttime. But at the same time, all that complaining I did, but at the end of the day, I, 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 I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I don't know how I did it, and it was like under 3 days and like 3 pages of no, it was 6 pages of big blocky lines, and I did all the I did the auditions, and then I did the TV show, and I did it, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, because sometimes you have to congratulate yourself, because I didn't really realize how back to back it was. So I was like, wow, good job, Heaven. Keep up the good work. So that was my recent faced challenge that I faced.
Tracy Marshall said, what advice would you give those wanting to pursue a career in modeling, and what can they expect?
So some advice I would give is make sure when you are starting that you push yourself hard enough and know that you can do the best that you can, even though some people might think, oh, that was terrible. You still did the best you could, and you know that you tried your best and you put your all into it. And make sure that you don't listen to what other people have to say about you, because sometimes it might bring you down. But at the end of the day, it doesn't. They're not the ones helping you pursue your dreams. The most people that help you pursue your dreams are mostly either your parents or your other family members that really care about you, and that you make sure that you use your time wisely, because sometimes modeling might, like, something might come up last minute and you have to make sure that you did something before you have you to do your modeling things.
Heaven, what advice would you give those wanting to pursue a career in modeling, and what can they expect?
I would say firstly is have fun. You have to dream it, because you have to dream it and actually say it out loud, because you're saying stuff that hasn't even happened, but that is going to happen in the future. So that's that's actually crazy. But at the same time, you have to have humbleness, and you don't have to be big egoed. Yes, you're gonna be a model, yes. But at the same time, you have to humble yourself to be a model, because people are gonna be looking at you. You have to be humble. You have to have determination, and you have to not only look, but also have the personality and mind of a model. Cause a model isn't just a person you see walking on the runway. A model is a person who has brains, who is determined, and there's only a reason why they are walking on that runway, for a reason. That designer saw something that they wanted in that model. They saw their walk. And sometimes there's interviews for designers to be an ambassador or a model for them. So you have to place yourself in that position of a model. Yes, there are some models who fail to recognize that, even if you, even because some models have big egos and they think that they're the best model in the world, but at the same time, we're all models. We're as a team, but at the same time, we have our unique walks. So also with coming in as a model, you have to get the right coach and see what type of style you want. Like if you like urban entertainment, or couture, professional, and also the top. You might want to do modeling for fun. So do what you want, dream it and believe it.
I have a question from Lisa Davis. Her question is for the both of you. Tell us something that we would not know about you from looking at your portfolio.
You can see this from time to time on my page, but not all the time. I'm funny. I'm a comedian.
That's good. That's good. That's good. You like to just have fun. Just be a kid sometime. What about you, Alicia? What is something that we don't know about you?
If you know by just looking at me is you should know that I speak Spanish. I know some French. I'm actually learning French. And also something else, I like to play outside with my siblings. I like to have fun. I don't like just being in the house bored and just sitting there doing nothing. I like to, do something and have fun. Not always just sit there.
In French or Spanish to give other young ladies a boost of inspiration or motivation to say who they are, like I am beautiful, or I am smart, or I am gifted, or I am a model.
So in Spanish, if you would say I am beautiful, you would say yo soy hermosa. And if you would want to say I know I can do this, yo sé que yo lo puedo hacer.
I love it. I love it. Do you know how to say something in Spanish to give the audience a
Yes.
little inspiration?
Yes. 2 14 hermosa. That means I am beautiful. Because over the time of my age growing, I realized I wasn't really focused on my looks until middle school, and then I just realized I looked in the mirror and said, "Wow!" But at the same time, in my personality, in what I do, in how my mindset, I don't have to be beautiful in face. I have to be beautiful in mind. I have to be beautiful inside, and I have to be beautiful in smarts. So, I just realized how beautiful that is.
Beautiful in the inside. I love that. I love that. Whether your modeling career or acting career, ROTC career. So what are you all's goals?
Well, one of my goals is to go to Paris or somewhere on the other side, like Europe or something like that, and model on one of their shows, or maybe come out with my own show. That's what one of my biggest goals that I want to achieve.
Well, let me know when you're going, girl. What about you, Heaven?
Same with Alicia. As a model, I want to be like an international model. I want to go out of the country, out of town. I want to go to Paris Fashion Week, Philadelphia Fashion Week. Yes, I went to LA and New York Fashion Week, but I can go a lot of times. But at the same time, I want to go different. I want to do different stuff and be like a professional model, well known not only in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, there are some people out of state that follow me, and like in Memphis, Tennessee. One of the people I work with, their daughters, they said they're a fan of me, and I was like, wow, I never realized that you could have like others out of state. But at the same time, I do want to model out of state. I want to go to Philadelphia, like places like that. And as the actress, I want to book a leading role.
The 2 questions that the models didn't get a chance to answer, it said, yes, a model has to also serve as a role model in the community, in school, and anywhere that you go, because we need to make sure that we keep our main focus on what a model is, look up the definition of that, and the role of a model, and everything that all entails, because being a model is just not about having a pretty face and time to shine and want to be in front of the camera taking pictures and woo-woo-woo. That's just not what a model, that's not the only thing, that's the beginning. And the next thing, what advice would you give those who are being bullied Okay, and I'm not sure if any of you guys, the models here, has ever had a issue with being bullied, but I think that if you listen to Alicia Allen's story, she did talk a little bit about it and how she pushed through being bullied, because being bullied could be on any small level. It does not matter. Bully is just, you know, internet bullying. Oh, you know, it could be on any small level. Okay. And it's not going to be tolerated. And so she did touch bases on that in her early part of her story when she got on. And so and I would like to thank you guys. But what I would have to say, because I was a model, you know, in my younger days, and when you want to get into the industry, what I would suggest that anybody that would like to get into the industry is to find you a modeling agency, find you a coach, somebody that can mentor you and coach you and get you signed under a model agency. It's very important that you will take those first steps so you can go through a lot of training, because again, modeling is just not all about being cute, having your hair done and wanting to shine every time the camera come on and it's time to take pictures. That's not the only thing about being a model. You have to have a lot of training. Okay, and I think working under a agency will give you that experience that you need, so that when you no longer is working under a modeling agency, you can know what to expect when you are working independently and trying to be picked up by a designer or photographer. You won't be out here asking some of the crazy questions that I get sometimes, and some of the other designers and photographers and producers of these shows get, you know. And one thing you need to know, you know, you shouldn't say, if somebody say, well, you know, would you like to model for me or take some photos or whatever the case may be. The thing is that your answer should never be, I mean, it should, but I'm going to tell you why it shouldn't and should be. You don't say, are you going to pay me? That's a turnoff too, because you're trying to get booked by the photographer or the producer or the designer or boutique owner, whatever the case. You're the person that's trying to get booked. And in my case, I would never hire anyone that asks me a question like that, because we can go out here and buy some mannequins and put them in the window, and mannequins throughout the years and ages and history and generations have always sold clothes in the window and not do nothing. Okay, so for me as a business person, I want to start, can you sell my product? That's my number one thing, is how you going to be able to sell my product where I could make my money back. If I, okay, paid you to do some work for me, will I be able to get my money back? Because anything that you do is an investment. Okay, you want to be paid, and the producer wants to be paid, photographers want to be paid, designers want to be paid. We all want to be paid, because we are the person that's out here spending money on getting the garments, getting the photographers, and then now you have to go and take the pictures, but yet you're not selling any garments, whether they be on the runway, whether they be in a photo shoot. It's just not selling, because we're not teaching, we're not really training and teaching in the areas of being a model like we should. We're not really educating the way that we should, especially when it's time to be talking about a brand ambassador. So just know that for me, I would like to make my investment back. Just, you know, I want to make money like you want to make money. So just know that getting into the industry, the first step is you know, finding a mentor, finding a modeling school, okay, that will teach you how to walk, how to talk, teach you a lot about the etiquettes and stuff. And in those modeling schools, they do have exercising, they do have stretches, they do teach you how to eat, they teach you a whole lot of things in those modeling schools. They teach you what to expect from a modeling agency. They teach you what to expect when you walk in, when you're trying to get auditioning for a fashion show. show. Just because you audition for a fashion show don't mean that you're gonna be in that fashion show. And because of the way that things has been going, everyone think, hey, I'm an audition for this fashion show and I'm gonna be a part of it. No, auditioning is auditioning, just like a role play. It is auditioning. If you don't get chosen, try again. Do not give up, you know, because it may be something else that the designers or the photographers or whoever that is there, the agencies that is there, may like about you and decide to work with you independently beside that fashion show, from that fashion show. So don't ever give up, okay? But the first thing that you should do, learn what being a model is and the role thereof. School is very important to me. Going to school is very important. That's the most important thing, is school, education. After education, crafting your craft, you know, and expanding it and working. You have to work hard. You can't just sit here and take pictures, get hair done and look cute. It's some hard work after that, because it's hard work trying to sell somebody's product. It's not easy. That person that's paying you, they are paying you to sell the product, and we would like to see some results. Okay, so I would like to take the time out to thank each and every last one of you guys that tuned in, and all of your questions was very relevant. As far as the bullying was a very great question, but Miss Allen has answered that. If in the beginning of her interview, that was one of the main things that she did touch on, because she talked about the way that she was feeling a little, I wouldn't say intimidated, but you know, the whole thing, you know, she touched on that. She touched on what she did to get over those things as well. She touched on how the things that people used to say and talk about one another, and the way she addressed it, that she addressed it, every last one of those issues, very professionally in the beginning of her interview. And it's a very great thing, because one of my friends out there, her whole platform is built on bullying, modeling against bullying and stuff, and that is very, very important. And I would like to thank my wonderful co-host Jennifer Elise Morgan for being on with us tonight. All of the questions that she had to ask, because they also was very relevant to a model's growth, because it's so important, Jennifer, that the models need to be able to understand, just as you said and Tracy said, one of my great friends, Tracy, the things that you do to overcome adversity, the things that you do to keep yourself rounded, group, you know, keep yourself, pretty much is what I gather from it. What do you do to balance yourself out, especially with heaven? So it's very important for your growth that you would balance everything that you have, that you are doing. And so we can't be a jack of all trade and a master of none. And so it's very important to be well grounded, rooted, and balanced.
I just want to say it was an honor to have Alisa Allen and Heaven Hightwoer to come on and voice who you are, what you're about, where you're going, and how successful that you guys are. Because I know there are many young girls out there looking up to you that you may not know that they are looking up to you, but they are. And I just want to say that you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep it up, keep soaring, keep dreaming, keep continue on with your purpose, and just always know to definitely keep God first in everything, and He will direct your path.
I would like to say thank you, Miss Anita. I would like to thank you for the support as well, because you have been there since day one.
I said thank you for having me in your magazine and giving me the opportunity.
And thank you guys for tuning in to us. And until next time, just remember, God is changing your story.